Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. You know what? Today we are going to talk about good manners, talk about etiquette. And if those kinds of things, I don't know, make you either freeze up or your eyes glaze over, feast your eyes on my beautiful friend, Sarah Aynesworth. Sarah, who I love to call my own personal Miss Manners. But Sarah has, for 25 years now, been teaching etiquette to all ages of folks, young, middle, even boardrooms. You've been in classrooms. You've done it all, and it's the kind of thing that a lot of people just don't know what the proper thing to do is. But what you do is instill confidence through just understanding how to show kindness. And it's just such a needed thing. And I'm proud to call you my friend, and am so happy you're going to be a regular part of the Ann Harder Show as we talk about these fun things. And it is fun if you think about it.
It is fun, Anne, because really, you don't have to worry about quite what the black and white rule is. You just have to think of what is the foundation. And the foundation is kindness and respect for all people.
Yeah.
And really that foundation is just the foundation of, because if you look at it, what is respectful in different parts of the world varies. For example,
well, that's true.
The foundation of a handshake is greeting someone, saying hello. It's our American culture of saying hello,
as
saying
opposed
goodbye.
to in Japan, you bow. I mean,
Right.
there's
In Thailand, you bow, and the number of fingers you have pressed towards you is the amount of respect for the other person.
Really?
Yes. So
Yeah.
the quote unquote rules of what is most respectful is it varies from culture to culture, and even in the United States, region to region.
I'm sure that's true. The South has its own thing. And
Right.
we've talked about how Texas is the West, but it's also the South. So maybe
Right.
Texas, we have our own mores. Would you say?
I would say definitely so, and I would say what is considered respectful in Texas may be definitely different than what is considered respectful maybe on the East Coast. The Northeast Coast, for example. I know someone that moved to Waco, and her father was a football coach, and he came and they moved to Waco, and he had been at West Point in New York, and the daughter had traveled all over. I think they were in Alabama, and they were in Oklahoma, and they were in Texas, and then they end up at West Point, and she said yes ma'am to her teacher, and the teacher thought she was being sarcastic.
Oh, that she was being snippy.
Yes, and that
Really?
she
Well, I bet she was shocked.
got in trouble because of it.
Yeah.
But in Texas, you do say yes, ma'am.
You
You
hear
do
that.
say yes, sir. You do say no, sir. You do say
Yeah.
no, ma'am. And at one of my trainings that I did, I was with some women from Chicago who were doing an inner city Chicago, just kind of enrichment program. And they had come to this training. It was Protocol School of Washington. And they said, oh, yes, you could never say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, or yes, sir, or no, sir in Chicago. It's seen as sarcastic. So that's an example of
Really?
what is respectful in the southern part of the United States versus what is seen as sarcastic and not respectful in other parts. But,
Well, let's dive right in. And what comes to my mind, I was at a gathering, and a gentleman was going to bring the prayer, the opening prayer, and he instructed all the gentlemen to remove their head coverings. Because in Texas, most of them had on cowboy hats, a lot of them, ball caps. But before he prayed, he asked them to. So
Right.
used to, seemed like I was heard, you took your hat off when you were inside because you
Right.
didn't need it. You weren't out in the sun, in the wind. But
Right.
that's not the case when it's a cowboy hat, right?
well, again, it's just even like a company, company culture, the culture of the area. Most cowboys do take their hat off to pray, or they do take their hat off for the Star Spangled Banner, but that would just be something that would be akin to what their culture, their ideas of respect are. And I think that, we all teach people how to treat us. So if you were the host of that situation, and what was it that you were attending?
Oh, it was a town hall meeting, in fact.
Okay.
With the congressman, yeah.
So
it was, a lot of people were there.
The host of that would say, "Gentlemen, please remove your hats." And
well, the gentleman that was going to pray told him to do that.
please, right, exactly.
Yeah,
so
he instructed that.
He instructed them to do that. I've saw a sign at Texas A&M about a year ago, and no apologies needed at Texas A&M. The sign said, "Please remove your hat before entering this building."
Okay.
Yes. So
All right.
I think that some places are really cracking down on what they deem as respectful, and we've become such a just baseball cap wearing culture that you see everything. I know. Yeah. You see it all.
Yeah.
But
some people you don't even recognize them without a hat on.
Their baseball cap
they're always wearing their hat.
I know, that's true. That's true. But yes, that would be, traditionally taking your hat off to pray for the Pledge of Allegiance,
right.
Something like that. It's just a sign of respect.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned the pledge, national anthem. I've sung the national anthem many, many times. And then it kind of recently got into, well, so-and-so, they're singing, the national anthem's playing. They're either not singing or, they're kneeling or whatever. There's something going on. But they don't have their hand over their heart to sing the national anthem. And I've never done that. I have for the pledge, but as a singer, you have to be able to
have
sing.
Your diaphragm open,
and if I'm holding a
and not
microphone, and it kind of closes anyway. I thought, oh my goodness, have people been offended by the fact that I've never put my hand over my heart to sing the national anthem? Do you know about that?
I wouldn't worry about that, Anne.
Well, I'm not terribly worried about it.
You're giving your heart and soul.
Well, it is but the pledge,
right?
We were just taught as little kids to do that.
I think it's just I think that almost may be like an intuitive thing where you just, when you want to feel heartfelt, you press your heart.
Yeah, I wonder where that came from.
I was just in Greece, and the thank you gesture from so many of the Greeks of just saying thank you, or I appreciate you, or I see you, was they would put their right hand over their heart and kind of look at you and pat their heart. It was a beautiful gesture.
That is neat.
Yeah.
I think I've seen people do that just as a, as
a way of saying, I honor you.
Yeah.
My heart honors you.
Well, travel is such a gift, those that can do it, because it does open you up to all these differences.
Right. And you realize, what is seen as respectful in, for example, Greece with tipping is very different than what is seen as respectful in.
Okay, well, I need to hear what you have to say. Well, I'm planning to be in
tipping.
Greece next year.
Okay, well, tipping, for example, in Greece it's basically for any service that's above and beyond. And even at, even if you do feel like they've gone above and beyond, it's about 10%. It's not this 20%.
Oh yeah.
We've become such a tip nation, tip happy
well,
nation.
Yeah, and then when you pay with your card and it automatically pops up, and maybe somebody behind a counter, it's not like a waiter or a waitress coming to your table. It's like, I don't know. Are they not being paid enough? I need to tip that.
Someone told me the other day this is their rule of thumb, and I think it's interesting. If they are standing up to order, they do not tip.
Okay. All right,
that's interesting.
I can go with that.
And that's a personal preference.
Yeah.
I will say I will not tip if I am, I don't know, at a concert buying a T-shirt. I'm not going to tip on that T-shirt.
No.
I mean, that's ridiculous because we have become
but if you pay with your card, it'll pop up.
Right, it'll pop up.
Right. You just hit the
So
no
it's
tip.
really for,
Yeah.
but it was interesting to learn what was customary in terms of acknowledging service in Greece.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Glad to understand that. There are so many little things in life, though. That's why I'm so excited that we're going to get to do this on a regular basis. I know, of course, in the past when I was doing Central Texas Living at Channel 25, you were one of my regulars who I love to have on, and we'd have different little themes. And I remember when Erin Moran, who was our meteorologist in the morning. She was about to get married. Now she's got two beautiful little children. Just to
Oh my
update
gosh, I
you on
can't believe
Erin,
how time.
lives in the Dallas area. But of course, we kind of brought her in on it because she was planning a wedding. And man, weddings with all the rules. You say we're not supposed to get sucked into the black and white of the rules, but there are some.
Well, they make people feel safe.
Yeah, rules do. Yeah,
They do.
that's true.
They make people feel secure, and they make people feel, okay, I'm doing this the right way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's, of course, now with the ease of these, websites where, the bride and groom and weeks ahead, you can go online and order something. And so I did that and went to the wedding empty-handed because I had ordered something weeks before, but I hadn't received any kind of acknowledgement. And then it's kind of like, did I order that? Did I
Did
do
they
it?
receive it?
Did I know. And so I'm just hoping at some point now after the wedding, I'll get an
You will
acknowledgement.
receive
If
a
not,
thank
then
you note. I know, and I do urge all married couples to just even if it's a text, please acknowledge that
Yeah.
gift because the sender needs to know if,
well, I almost
especially
kind of
because
wish
it's
Target
not,
or whatever, whoever I ordered it from,
gave you an
wouldn't they have-
acknowledgement that it was
delivered. That, but I got nothing like that.
Well, and back to, we'll talk about the wedding in just a minute, but back to the rules. And I know I say, don't think about everything being so black and white. It's really the foundation of kindness and respect and honoring. But the rules are really just like the stoplights and stop signs
Yeah.
of our traffic.
Keep you safe.
They just are to keep everything flowing more smoothly. So if you can really think of the rules of etiquette as just more like guideposts, just like we have traffic guideposts that help guide us, that think of it that way. And so that way you're not quite as hung up on exactly what it is, but it is a guidepost
Yeah. Yeah.
of what is seen as acceptable in our culture.
Well, and so let's go back to the thank yous.
Yes.
When we were talking about, wedding gifts is one thing. Say there's a death in the family. Usually the funeral home is very good about giving you bereavement cards or acknowledgement cards. And they do a great job of helping you acknowledge when someone's given you a floral tribute or made a donation in your loved one's name. But yeah, it's important that they receive something
It is.
tangible
It
as
is,
opposed to a
and-
text.
Yes.
Yeah, when is
yes.
a text
Well, I
okay?
think, of course, a handwritten note is, absolutely the Rolls Royce of gratitude
Yeah,
and becoming rarer and rarer.
I know.
And there's sometimes some kinks with the postal service.
Right.
And so,
They
we all know
never get
invitations
it
that
or-
were never received.
Oh,
or
I know.
I'm actually telling young, or anyone that's interviewing for a job to, yes, write the thank you note, but actually email a thank you a couple of days
kinda
afterwards,
double-
so that that person received it. And this is a little tangent story, but I had someone in Houston tell me the other day that they were interviewing 3 people and they had a favorite candidate of the 3, and they had received a follow-up thank you email from 2 of the candidates, but not the third. and they were very disappointed. They gave the job to one of the two from the email follow-up, thank you, and gave the job, gave it about a week, gave the job out, and the day afterwards, she got to her desk, and here was the United States Postal Service note from her favorite candidate thanking her for her time.
Oh.
So be sure that, you do use technology to a certain extent. I think especially when someone has sent you a gift,
Oh, yeah.
it is so important to let the person that's taken the time and spent the money to let them know that you have received it.
Yeah.
And even if it is just a quick technology text or email, just say a formal note will follow, or my thank you will follow, but I wanted to let you know I did receive your gift. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you at the wedding, or whatever it is. That is just respectful, and it gives the person that sent the gift peace of mind.
Right.
And there's such a
That it made it.
generational difference too between technology users and what you've been used to your entire life, and suddenly
Yeah.
so I would say, use it all, use technology, but at the same time, there's nothing better than receiving a handwritten note that you'll keep.
Yeah. Sometimes, even old school, there were quite a few gifts, gift bags and all that kind of thing. And I think I had seen someone said, the card was not in the bag of someone who gave whatever. Do you have any idea, who it was? And that's unfortunate when that kind of thing happens, where you go, I really want to acknowledge this salt and pepper shaker, but
this gift,
I have no idea who gave it to me.
I know. And I guess just the best way for that is just to kind of subtract, just try to weave your way in and out of that. But the most important thing is an acknowledgement that person's gift was received. Just like you said, you send a gift and you really don't know if they received it. And I've had a situation like that, and I guess
you could go back and look on your statement, your bank card statement, if it went
but they're
through.
going to charge it whether it was received or not.
Yeah, I know. There's just not any way of knowing if it actually was
just because it was charged doesn't know, you don't realize that it was.
True.
So I have a really good friend, and her son got married, and I sent a gift, and I never heard from them. And I know her well enough.
Yeah.
And I really meant it sincerely, that if they did not receive a gift from us, there was a problem.
Right, exactly. That's my feeling.
And so I texted her or something and just said, do you mind? I don't need a thank you note, but I just want to ensure that, your son and daughter-in-law received a wedding present from us. And she, I guess acknowledged, yes, it was. And she texted me back. She said, I'm so sorry. A thank you note's coming. And I wasn't being judgmental about it, but you do need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
if it was delivered.
Yeah. And sometimes people need a little fire built under them, and life gets busy, and you're, settling into married life and all that kind of thing. But yeah, that's just one of those things. Well, the price you pay for having a wedding is
right.
Yeah.
And I will say, gratitude will never go out of style.
No, it won't.
And it is cross-cultural.
Yeah. Well, and I'm obviously grateful to Sarah Aynesworth for spending some time with us. And we're going to talk some more. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty, maybe talk about actually going to a tea party. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we come back after these messages. The show is brought to you by Main Event Waco.
Escape into fitness with the Schwinn IC4 bike, providing a premium, heart-pumping indoor cycling experience that combines digital connectivity with superior Schwinn quality. The IC4's smooth, quiet ride features magnetic resistance with 100 micro-adjustable resistance levels. Escape the everyday with the Schwinn IC4 bike, your ticket to a life well lived.
At Mapiffle, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
I just love the simple and logical way Sarah Aynesworth approaches good manners in an orderly society. Stick around, there's music from Jimmy Zapata ahead. The Ann Harder Show is brought to you by Main Event.
If I've learned anything in the last year, it's that to show up as my best, I need to make intentional choices. And that goes back to the absolute basics. Number one, it's I have to move. And number two, to stay hydrated.
I have been using molecular hydrogen from Water and Wellness to support my health and well-being. It helps with energy, recovery, liver health, and more. The hydrogen has been a game-changing addition to my own wellness routine. The tablets dissolve into my water and deliver powerful minerals to help my body feel its best all day long.
Today's show is brought to you by Main Event Entertainment Center. They've got it all. They've got bowling, virtual reality, laser tag, billiards, shuffleboard, and more. And if you mention my name, Ann Harder, when you're booking, you get double arcade play free. And if you book by July 24th, your guest of honor will play free. For your next main event, it's Main Event, 2420 Creekview Drive in Waco, right next to the Cinemark Theaters. And we're back talking etiquette and good manners with our lovely Sarah Aynesworth. So happy to see you. We always have such a good time, and we go many weeks and months and not see each other and just kind of pick back up. You're one of those friends that I appreciate so much. You've been studying and thinking about this, though, since you were a young girl. Let's talk about how you kind of first gotten started in all this.
Well, I've always, as a child, I used to play pretend, and all I did was teach. That's all I did.
You were always going to be a teacher.
Yes, I was always going to be a teacher. I knew I would set up all these dolls, and I would get dressed up, and I would
instruct,
get my teacher self together. And anyway, when I was 14, my parents sent me to a program in Dallas, and it wasn't fussy. It was just a basic polishing. It was called a polished performance. And I came home and I said, "Mom, you were supposed to be doing this and this and this." And she said, "Oh, Sarah, I've been trying to tell you that for 14 years, and you've never listened to me."
Oh,
so
really?
it took someone else to make an impression, as a 14-year-old girl to make an impression. So anyway, I went to Baylor, got an education degree, taught school, and started having children. And I left teaching to raise my sons, and I just missed that creativity. There was just a void in me of not teaching. So I went to the library and checked out all these books on etiquette, really as the 14-year-old class was my inspiration.
Sure.
Because I just knew it gave me such confidence, and I think confidence creates competence, and and I think confidence goes such a long way, especially for young people these days. And so I went to the Midland. We lived in Midland at the time. I went to the public library. I wrote a curriculum. And in the meantime, we moved back to Waco. And I received requests, "Oh, could you do my business?" Or, "Oh, Sarah, this is really great. Could you teach my teenagers?" So I went. That's when I decided I needed some training. So I did training at the Protocol School of Washington in McLean, Virginia.
That's a big deal.
It was really interesting, and came home with all the curriculum and had almost more courage than brains. And the rest is history. So.
Yeah, so that's how Sarah Aynesworth Etiquette
That's right.
was born. And you do teach people of all ages. I know they've brought you to Baylor. To work with football players. Tell them about that.
Yes, I have. I worked with Baylor football we've done, dining, A to Z dining etiquette. We also did one time, the young men were really interested in dress and how to dress, when to dress, how to respond to invitations, what you wear where. And they were so interested in that. I remember that. That was really a fun class.
What kind of surprised them about
I don't
how
know.
to dress?
I can always really tell the engagement of an audience. I can read an audience so well after teaching for almost 30 years. And I know they were hungry, and their body language, they were so interested. They were asking questions. They were like, well, what would you wear to this? Well, what would you wear to this? And we talked about, when slacks were more appropriate, when, what the invitation is for this type of dress. Anyway, they just were very, very engaged.
Good.
So
Good.
it was, I know, I remember that.
Probably hadn't had much opportunity up to then. But I remember you saying, though, that meal had 2 meats. You hadn't overseen a meal with 2 meats before.
Yes, 2 meats. And then one time when I was teaching them, the fire alarm went off, and everybody just took their plate and their fork and ran down the back stairs.
They weren't going to leave it.
Yeah, that was a time.
Well, and I know you've done, second graders. So
right. Yes,
so
I just run the gamut.
You do.
I really do. My favorite is young adults who are entering the workforce, because suddenly all of this becomes relevant.
Oh, sure.
Because they are going, they are doing an internship. They are being asked to go eat dinner or go eat lunch with senior people, with professionals, senior people in the office. And, even though our society is so casual now, it's still just confidence building that you do not, you're not in your head thinking, am I doing this right or am I doing this wrong? I had a young woman tell me the other day, she came up to me and she said, thank you so much for teaching this dining class. She said, I have 2 scholarships in college and I'm a junior, and I go to a lot of luncheons and dinners for my scholarships, but I've never eaten because I've always been too nervous. And she said, now I can eat.
And that's a good thing.
I know. So, but it was a confidence builder. She didn't feel confident.
Right. Yeah. It seems counterintuitive, but your bread and butter plate is to the left.
Right. And it's all
side,
practical, and too, again, with the rules being just the same as stoplights and stop signs in traffic.
Right.
All table settings are created for right-handed people. That's why the drink is always on the right. A lesser used bread and butter plate would be on the left because it might not be used very often. That's why the knife is on the right, just because you're going to pick up and cut with your dominant hand. I mean, I personally am left-handed, but the majority of the world is right-handed, and it is all, the whole table setting is so practical in terms of it was just created for the practicality of a right-handed world.
Interesting. And of course, I watch a lot of British television, and so the whole way they eat is fascinating to me.
Yes, the continental
as well.
style.
Yes. Did you learn that in your training?
Yes.
And go into all that?
Do you know that World War II, American spies were caught and captured in Germany because, they had learned the language, they had learned how to act and try to be this great spy, except one thing they forgot to learn was continental style eating. And so the Germans quickly caught on because they were eating
like
American,
an American
style.
Yeah,
eating like an American. Absolutely.
So how did all that change during the Revolutionary War? What do you know about how that? Why didn't that translate here in the United States like so many other European things have?
Well, you have to think that forks. Actually, this is a little bit of a history lesson, but forks. None of the colonists did not come over with forks.
Right.
Forks were a later, I think it was in the late 1600s, King Charles I of England finally said, okay, let's use a fork, because in Europe, they were seen as, of the devil, that you had it was more associated like with
like
a
a pitch.
pitchfork.
Yeah, you think of the pitchfork. Yeah,
And that God gave us fingers to eat. And so I think I can't remember exactly, it was late 1600s. And so King Charles I said, oh, let's just use forks. But it took 100 years to be prevalent in just middle class culture. So you were born with, you were given a spoon when you were born, and depending on your really status in life, was what your spoon was made out of. So
that's where the expression "born with a silver spoon."
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were given if you were more of a pauper, you had a wooden spoon or a copper spoon, or anyway. Yes, and then the wealthy aristocratic families would have silver spoons. But so the American style of eating, I don't know if they just wanted to be so different from the British. I feel like the more you travel, though, you really do see people using the continental style of dining.
Do you?
More. I do a hybrid, actually. I cut meat and eat meat the continental style because
Well, it's easy to
it's
do
simpler.
that.
Yes, it's much
Well,
easier.
Of course, right-handed people are going to use their knife in their dominant hand. Your lesser.
So that would be, really it's for the cutting, but most, even, the Europeans are great mashers. They just mash things on the back of their fork and convey their fork to their mouth with the tines of the fork down. We're kind of getting into minutia here, but
no.
I mean, the American is all more like a shovel.
I see this, I see it on television shows that are from England, and I go it's different. It's kind of elegant, though.
It is
something about it
it's much less the American style of eating, where you cut. You place the knife on the back edge of the plate. If you're right-handed, you switch. You put your left hand in your lap. It's very disjointed.
That's true. There's a lot of activity going on.
Whereas that continental style is just one. Anyway, we're getting into the weeds. I'm dying.
I know, and that's okay. I mean, that's hey. Why not?
Weeds.
This is what we're doing.
That's right.
You mentioned Dallas. You said when you were a girl, you went to Dallas.
Right. Yes.
Well, Dallas is where the Adolphus Hotel is. And I've been able to take my granddaughters there for high tea.
Oh, I
and
love that,
Mike took us, and we all had our hats. But my granddaughters have always loved having tea parties at my house. And and there's a method behind my madness in that I've inherited lots of sets of dishes. I cannot part with them. I mean, if I hoard anything, it's dishes. And so we've used all kinds of different teacups and saucers, and so they can go and pick from the cabinet their favorite ones. And I'm hoping someday they're going.
Someday you'll remember
you're going to get a whole set of
experience.
dishes. This is coming your way. But we got to go to high tea, and in preparation, I've started watching a lady on the internet that does these cute little videos about
Is she British?
tea. I'm not sure she never speaks. She's gorgeous, and it'll be a short little video, and she'll be sitting there doing something, and then red X. That's not the way you do it. And then the proper way you do it, And so my granddaughters have loved watching those, and some of them are hilarious. But even the minutia, talk about minutia, on if your tea bag is in your teacup, how to use your spoon to wrap the string around it, and then what do you do with the tea bag? Anyway, there's so much involved.
And
but
you never want to put the
fun.
tea bag just straight onto the saucer, because then your teacup's going to be drippy.
Right.
So you need another saucer for the tea bag.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, even
love that,
how do you stir? And it shows her just kind of slosh it around her spoon.
You go back and
you go back
up,
and forth.
Yes, back and forth. That's the least clanky way. If you think about everything as just being sort of the least attention grabbing, the quiet, the least obtrusive way to do something. It's that, and so that is why you take your spoon and just kind of go up and down, basically like drawing a line in front of you, kind of.
Yeah. For example, you're eating dinner at someone's house, and you're not really familiar with whatever it is, and you don't take a fork full of it, bring it to your nose, and go,
Right. Is that on the video?
sniff it and go, oh, I guess I'll eat it.
I think I'll try it. Now, a child might do that.
Yeah, just some
Yes.
really basic things.
And if you aren't sure how to eat something, just watch the host.
That's
Always
good advice.
Watch the host. Yes, there's a great. I know you love colonial times, so there's
Yes,
a
I
great
do.
story of George Washington, and these men were going to have dinner with him, and they were kind of nervous about it because they just didn't know, quite. They weren't sophisticated men, and they were nervous to have dinner with General Washington. And so someone gave them this advice, and they said, well, just whatever George Washington does, you do. Just always watch the host, and then you won't ever be nervous. So, George Washington lifts his fork, they lift their fork, napkin in lap. They just follow everything he does to a T. So near the end of the meal, George Washington takes the cream and takes his saucer off and takes his cup off the saucer and pours some cream into the saucer and places it by his seat, by his chair, and on the floor. So all these men
Everybody did it.
supposedly did it because
They saw him do it.
Yes, they saw him do it, and that's what they were supposed to do. So they all kind of looked at each other, and they all poured the cream into the saucer, and they put it down on the floor. And evidently, George Washington looked at them and said, what are you all doing? And they said, well, we were told to just follow the host and do whatever you did. And he said, oh, that's just some cream for my cat.
The cat was happy.
That's right. So when in doubt, always follow the host.
Follow
Yes.
the host,
Yes.
no matter what.
Yes, yes.
Well, I am sorry to say our time is almost up, but I appreciate these things.
could our time already be up?
So when you come back, what shall we do? There's so many different things we could talk about.
Oh, there's so many avenues we can talk about. We can talk about gift giving. We can talk about thank you notes again. We
Yeah,
can talk
that's
about,
always bears repeating for sure.
We can talk about new. I think a very interesting subject, honestly, Ann, in this genre, is modern manners.
Yes.
How things have changed. Just like today, we had that text exchange of, women were always traditionally taught, really until our generation, to stay seated when they met someone.
Right.
And now, and the reason for that is that, and women were also taught to shake hands very differently with more of their
Right.
fingertips.
Right.
And the reason for that is that if you did stand up when you met someone, or you did, shake a man's hand, like shake, anyone's hand, like men shook hands,
Yeah.
it was seen as aggressive, or
Right.
you were pushy, or you were, too, just too intense as a woman. And now all of that has changed.
Yeah.
And,
Women,
yeah, handshaking
professionals
is,
and-
gender free.
Right.
Business professionalism is gender free. Handshaking is the only acceptable form of touch in business. If a woman did not stand up, that would just be,
It's weird.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So I think modern manners and how things have changed in terms of, and there are some unspoken rules. For example, now at bridal parties, the guests are not supposed to wear white because the bride gets to wear white to everything.
Oh, to everything, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's just some interesting.
Well, and it used to be you didn't wear black, but now people wear black too.
right.
weddings,
And even
right.
with funerals, you were supposed to only wear black.
But sometimes they'll say, "Oh, Mom loved purple,
Florals.
so
right. wear a floral
wear
dress.
something."
Or everybody
yeah.
wear purple. Right. So,
Right.
some
That
of
does
these.
take the pressure off of.
Yeah,
you
so
know.
some of these cultural norms are shifting as our society and culture changes.
Yeah.
That's a good subject, too.
Yeah, lots to talk about. Lots to talk
That's
about.
right.
Sarah, thank you so much.
thank
I
you.
can't wait till we meet again and we
Well,
talk about.
thank you so much
Talk
for
about
having me, Ann.
things to do with manners and etiquette. But you've always said it's basically, to me, what I interpret It's the golden rule. You just treat people the way you want to be treated. You think of other people first and their comfort, and you do that, you're not going to err.
Right, exactly. And that's all, all of the black and white written rules in the big, thick book of etiquette.
Amy Post.
Emily
Post, yeah.
Amy Vanderbilt, you're thinking.
Yeah, so I got them mixed up.
Those are all based on kindness and civility and respect.
Yeah. Maybe we could do that. Just kind of pick through some of the old funny ones.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know I have so many people always give me old etiquette books.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious and for children, children were really, to be
they had
seen
a whole
and not
set of
heard.
rules.
Oh, they had an entirely different set of rules.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
I think the world's our oyster, Anne.
yes,
Carter.
it is. I appreciate you.
Thank
you,
No,
Sarah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you for having
yeah.
me. Thank you for valuing what I teach.
I absolutely do. I
really
absolutely do.
appreciate
It's something so many people need to understand. So yeah, we'll talk. And the whole idea of folks who are going to do job interviews and things that they need to know, how to dress, all those things.
How to present yourself with confidence
We
and
will.
authority. And because you want to get somewhere and you want to not be in your own thoughts. You want to know you're doing everything to the best of your ability.
Again, it all goes back to comfort and confidence then on your part. All right.
Thank you,
It's
Ann.
one of those, stay tuned, there's more. And stay tuned. There's more of the Ann Harder Show. Don't go away.
Have you ever wondered why so many pet parents are choosing to have virtual vet appointments? Online veterinary care is making it easier than ever to get expert advice for your pet. Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns and expand access to pet care. Book your first appointment today.
The City of Waco's 4th on the Brazos celebration will be Friday evening at Touchdown Alley. That's next to Baylor's McLean Stadium. Gates open at 6 p.m. and the HEB fireworks extravaganza kicks off at 9:15 p.m. 4th on the Brazos is free thanks to sponsors like HEB and the City of Waco. There will be music from Sister Sledge featuring Sledgendary and the Waco Community Band with their wonderful patriotic tunes. For more information, visit the Brazos Nights Waco website.
Hi, my name's Erica, and today I'm going to be taking you through my skincare routine using the Tasmanian Spring Water range from Sand and Sky. This range is really good for dry and dehydrated skin like myself. It's packed with 2 types of hyaluronic acid and fermented sea kelp to reduce redness and irritation, which I experience daily. So that's it. It's so quick and so easy, and my skin feels so dewy and so hydrated.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us in our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
Mom and Dad can be a little competitive. They get all, yeah, buddy, and heck yeah. Lucky for them, Main Event has over 85 games and activities to play together, so they can get rematch after rematch after rematch. So do something awesome together.
I just got my Colgate Advanced LED Whitening Treatment in the mail, and I am very excited to have dramatically whiter teeth in just 10 days. My teeth are going to be 6 shades whiter. The treatment is enamel safe and hassle-free. It's even designed for my sensitive teeth. Let's open it up. Inside we have the blue light whitening device. It's a charger for after each treatment as well. There's a full 10-day supply, and it looks easy to apply. Order yours today at shop.colgate.com.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. With our feature called Popple Direct, You can pop one of your links directly. I turned direct on for Instagram. Now when I pop someone's phone, it opens directly to my Instagram. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Cigarette burns on his headstock, ashes on the floor, blood stains on his pearl snap that he earned in a fight night before. Them old chucks he's been wearing since about 1994, they might tell a story. No one cares to hear it anymore. Gray mustache discolored from the smoke, hope on out the door. Budweiser and Old Spice permeate the air around him like an oar. He sits in that back seat of that van, he could sleep right through a war. He might introduce himself, but no one cares to meet him anymore. He's a lover, he's a fighter, he's a liar and the truth. With more talent in his middle finger than those other singers do. He's a strung-out picking poet, writing songs no one cares to listen to. He's Billy Blue. Faded leather jacket, Stetson straw, and a Martin pawn shop special, Mo2. Sold his vintage Gibson that his daddy left him when he passed on, circa 1982. He'd been on the road all this time, just trying to make it through. On to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, like all us poets do. He's seen it all and done it all and been locked up a time or two. Bar fights and all-nighters and one-night stands, but you know, one or two. 'Cause he's a strung-out picking poet. Pickings are slim, oh boy, for guys like him. He's a lover, he's a fighter, he's a liar and the truth. With more talent in his middle finger than those other singers do. He's a strung-out picking poet, plucking strings and never seem to be in tune. Billy Blue. He's a lover, he's a fighter, he's a liar and the truth. With more talent in his middle finger than those other singers do. He's a strung-out picking poet, strumming strings never seem to be in tune. He's Billy Blue.
Explore unforgettable experiences with Force Travel. Experience the pinnacle of luxury travel with our exclusive global selection. From secluded villas to elegant train voyages, each moment is tailored for sophisticated exploration. As one of the most renowned and awarded travel agencies in the world, we are pleased to elevate your next journey to an entirely new level. Your extraordinary journey begins now. Force Travel.
When you view the glass half full, The little things become magical. Like kicking back and sharing laughs, spread good vibes, and they'll come back. Celebrate what you love with what you wear, even if what you love is kind of weird. Life is good in super soft tees that spark smiles and connectivity. 10% of profits go to help kids heal. So choose optimism and make the magic real. Visit lifeisgood.com.
The 4-burner, side sear burner with Clearview glass stainless steel grill from Monument Grills. Made of tempered glass, which is strong, insulated, and allows you to check your grilling without lifting the lid. Our porcelain-coated cast iron cooking grids offer a large cooking surface of 513.3 square inches, primary cooking area, with even heat cooking. The Monument Grills include LED control knobs and are easy to light with pilotless electronic ignition. Better grilling, better value, Monument Grills.
I was born on a state line, Oklahoma, red moon night. Daddy run off, he was just my mama and me. Devil called me at a bad time. Some decisions can't take back. Took a while for that light to shine. Killed a man in a bar fight. Gave me 10 years, got out in 5. Nobody wants a damn thing to do with me. Oh, driving down the back roads every now and then. It's me and my truck, pack of cigarettes. My mind's still stuck in that cage, so I fight to stay away from anything and everything that led me to that place. Killed a man in a bar fight. Self-defense still don't make it right. Nobody wants a damn thing to do with me. Tell me what else I'm supposed to do. Got no friends, no family, that's true. Nobody wants a damn thing to do with me. You don't understand when they say what it takes to kill a man don't mean what you got, but what it takes from you. No, you don't understand when they say what it takes to kill a man don't mean what you got, what it takes from you. Takes a whole lot of time. Takes a whole lot of time. Takes a whole lot of time. Pay the devil his due. Takes a whole lot of time. Takes a whole lot of time. Takes a whole lot of time, pay the devil his due. Pay the devil his due.
Natural Cycles identifies your fertile window by analyzing changes in your temperature. It's the first FDA-cleared birth control app. No hormones, no side effects, and 93% effective with typical use, and 98% effective with perfect use. Just measure in the morning, add your temperature into the app, then learn which days you can and cannot get pregnant. It's that easy. Learn more at naturalcycles.com.
I ain't never met nobody act quite the way you do. I ain't never heard no lies until I heard the utter garbage that you spew. Now I got more important things to do than to come around and waste my time on you. Your pistol in the wind, and I ain't talking 22. Yeah, you walk around with your chest out. How the hell does it burn down on you? You got a heart of stone, a jet black soul, to match them shades you wear that hide the truth. You might have that muscle car, but you ain't got the wherewithal to drive the truth. If that devil came to call, you know he wouldn't have looked that hard to you. Y'all want food in the flames and the other blasting out that old 72. 72. Your pistol in the wind, and I ain't talking 22. Yeah, you walk around with your chest out. How the hell does it burn out on you? You got a heart of stone, a jet black soul, to match them shades you wear that hide the truth.
Thanks for being with us. Tomorrow we talk craft beer with Jill King and Kevin Yackley of Bear Arms Brewery. We'll get the latest on their new project. It's a restaurant, 6 Oaks Texas Kitchen and Brewery. Have a great day.